And a major new development, Mexico says it will be filing criminal complaints in the United States regarding the death of their Mexican nationals. Specifically, the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, held a press conference and said they are done using only diplomatic channels. They have, in fact, already filed 11 diplomatic letters for the killings of 11 Mexican nationals, whether in ICE facilities or on the streets of America. But because of the ICE killing of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo in Houston just recently, the man who had been living here for 35 years, the father, the grandfather, the business owner who was killed on the streets by ICE, she says this has prompted them to now pursue this serious criminal complaint. Take a listen.
Regarding what happened recently with the death of a Mexican citizen during an ICE operation, in donde is not only sad and regrettable, but it seems like it was targeted. To file a formal complaint with state prosecutors and a U.S. Federal Prosecutor's Office against whoever is responsible.
The filing of criminal complaints raises this, of course, to a very serious level. It is something that prosecutors cannot ignore. With the filing of the criminal complaint, most likely they will also be compiling evidence along with the complaint. So they will have to look at it. Prosecutors will have to review it and make a determination of whether or not to move forward with an indictment. It puts them not only on notice because they are being given a compilation of evidence, but it forces them to make a decision instead of just punting again and again with what we have seen. Punting, ignoring it, because Trump, of course, does not care. This shows how serious this is for Mexico. They have gone not only to us with diplomatic letters, they have gone to the UN, they have gone to the Inter-America Human Commission, but Trump is not stopping. Of course, it's just the opposite. Republicans just passed an additional $70 billion for ICE. The number of detentions, people in ICE detentions, is expected to rise in 2026 by tens of thousands. Trump is full speed ahead on this. Well, in addition to filing the criminal complaints, Mexico's foreign minister said they plan on civilly suing the ICE prisons as well. As we know, these ICE prisons are for-profit detention centers. That is a really disturbing and depraved thing about these detention centers because they're not giving adequate food. They have these horrible conditions. They're not being allowed oversight congressional members. And at the same time, it's not because they don't have enough money as they allocate the billions. It's because they just want to make more money. They want to line their pockets. Well, in addition to in this press conference talking about these new criminal indictments, talking about these new civil lawsuits, they also highlighted the recent statement by the UN Human Rights Commissioner. The UN Human Rights Commissioner says, quote, "I call for prompt, independent, impartial, and effective investigations into all deaths in ICE custody. Those responsible for violations of the law must be held to account, and the rights of the victims' families to truth, justice, and reparation and guarantees of non-recurrence must be upheld." This is from the UN. The United States has lost all moral authority, all ethical principles. You know, here we are arming the genocide in Gaza. And then here the UN just urging the most basic human rights and dignity for people that we are holding in these detention centers. The High Commissioner urges the full restoration and strengthening of independent oversight mechanisms. And in the statement by the Commission, pointing out what international communities, international organizations like Amnesty International having found in our detention centers, describing poor quality food, extreme temperatures, permanent lighting, and limited access to clean water. ACLU reported people being denied insulin and disability accommodations, blocked from seeing lawyers, and forced to use bathrooms with sewage bubbling up from drains. And I know those of us who have been following the news, this is just a small fraction of it. We are seeing this. We are hearing this everywhere. Our taxpayers are being used for this. And we are having the United Nations Human Rights Commission call us out. Supposedly this beacon of democracy in the world, the wealthiest nation in the world. And this is how we are treating people. I have said before on this channel many times, but a good friend of mine who had also lived in this country decades, also a Mexican national, self-deported back in the summer when we were sending people to El Salvador and dragging people on the streets in Los Angeles. And a reporter for the Houston Chronicle was asked whether or not there will be marches in the streets because of this death of this man, Houston resident and family man, whose son Ronaldo said he doesn't think his father thought it was ICE that was trying to pull him over, but he was being robbed. Will there be protests in the street? And she said, probably not, because people are afraid, especially in a state like Texas with Abbott, clearly a friend of Trump. Do they really think they're not going to have their friends surveilled or rounded up, their speech allowed? So there's so many people in this country who are suffering silently, who have either had a family member deported or detained. The fact of the matter, this isn't about legal immigration. You don't have to detain people who are not criminals. If you truly wanted to just speed up their deportation, you would just hire judges. People don't need to be rounded up and detained unless you want a for-profit system. Take a listen to the son, Ronaldo, and what he had to say about his father and his father's killing on the streets of America that have prompted Mexico to file criminal complaints here in the United States. Take a listen.
I am calling for a full investigation into the events that transpired yesterday, July 7th. He did not deserve to die. He did not.
Deaths at these ICE facilities are skyrocketing. They are at a 20-year high. This is amidst Trump's mass detainment, not deportation, but his detainment. Now, Democratic Congresspeople are insisting on oversight. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver paid a very dear cost. She was federally prosecuted for supposedly assaulting an ICE agent in that scuffle with the mayor. She's still dealing with that, and she cannot accept pro bono legal help because she is a sitting congresswoman. And Congresswoman Yansari just issued this emotional statement about what she sees when she goes inside these facilities. She represents Phoenix in the border state of Arizona. Take a listen.
It's horrifying. Any person who sees this cannot help but be horrified, I would hope. I have been emotional and angry all day. I honestly have. From going to detention centers and seeing that we have tens of thousands of people locked up across this country, and we are abusing them and torturing them and denying them of food and water and medical care because of where they're from. It's actually so outrageous, and it's happening every single day.
We'll be following these developments here at MeidasTouch Network, so be sure to free subscribe. And if you haven't yet found the Mistrial podcast, wherever you listen to audios, that's really a great way to support my podcast. Please be sure to find it and support our sponsors who never censor what I have to say.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.